Hello, everybody, and welcome to another continuous education session with the American Institute of Financial Education. We are your digital field marketing educators. The mission of the American Institute of Financial Education is to promote the pursuit of financial literacy and to elevate the level of professionalism in financial services. Now, in order to work in elevating the level of professionalism in financial services, we design continuous education courses like this one that you're going to be having today on current topics, trying to make sure that you become acquainted and aware of the most important aspects of legislation or trends that affect your profession and your performance as an insurance professional. Additionally, in order to promote the pursuit of financial literacy, what we do is we take many of the courses that we design and we adjust them and make them understandable for the end user. So you can turn around and take a presentation like the one that you're going to be seeing today and turn around and promote the pursuit of financial literacy for your client. And we do that in multiple topics, in many different topics directly related to insurance products and to financial planning, topics like Social Security and retirement planning and many different topics. So again, what we want to do is we want to promote the pursuit of financial literacy and to elevate the level of professionalism in financial services. That's our mission. Today's training is on the American Rescue Act, ARPA 2021, and the relationship with you, the insurance agent. This is the Texas course number is 126703, and the Florida course number is 117424. I know that we have agents from all over the country, but specifically, this course today will only provide continuous education for the states of Texas and Florida. I will provide 2 hours of continuous education in Texas and 2 hours of continuous education in Florida. You do need that course number there. I'm going to show you how we're going to go through the whole process. But basically, if you are in any one of the other states, you will not be getting CE credit. But I strongly recommend you that you participate in the training because it's going to get you up to date. And we are expecting and hoping that you do learn a lot today in the next 2 hours. So again, 2 hours of continuous education for Texas and Florida, no continuous education for the rest of the country. Now, in terms of how you get your 2 hours of continuous education, you are right now online. You need to make sure that you stay online for the duration of the class. If for some reason you get disconnected, make sure you log in again. We will keep tally of all that. The system takes, keeps tally of all that. But in order for us to be able to extend you the 2 hours of continuous education, we need to have proof that you were there during the totality of the duration of the class. So again, very important that you stay there with us for the 2 hours. And if for some reason you get disconnected or anything, make sure you log in again and try to stay during the 2 hours with us or the duration of the class. At the end, there is an evaluation form. That evaluation form is very important for us because it gives us feedback in terms of getting better at what we do. But additionally, we want to make sure that you include in the form your name as it appears in your insurance license in your state. It's very important. Sometimes we get issues with that. We get, your name in the insurance license appears in one way, and then you call yourself in a different way, and it's difficult for us to match. So make sure that when you provide us with your full information, you provide us with your information as it appears in your insurance license. Additionally, make sure you enter there your license number for whichever state you are. And if you can add your NPN number, that would also help us in case we have any type of additional information that we might need. At the end of this session, probably by tomorrow, we will upload to Circon the CE credit. So you can go to your Circon account and you can check that you see that your credits are already credited there. If you do not have an account with Circon, we strongly recommend you that you open an account with them. Circon is an organization that works with the different states, specifically with the state of Texas and the state of Florida, and in many other states in the nation. And they handle all licensing and continuous education matters. And it's a great platform for you to manage all aspects of your licenses and your continuous education. So you should be able to see, I would say at the latest in the next 48 hours, your 2 hours of continuous education in your Circon account. Again, if you don't have an account, we strongly recommend you that you open one. If you don't have one and you don't want to open one, that's okay also. We will email you a copy of your certificate. Okay, so that's in terms of how we're going to be proceeding in terms of the credit. Who we are an organization composed of 5 different organizations. We are Premier Insurance Contracts, and that's the FMO. We are the Digital Field Marketing Organization. Premier Insurance Contracts is the organization that has contracts with multiple insurance companies all over the nation. We have multiple lines of business. We do Medicare Advantage, we do ACA or ARPA now, and we do annuities and life insurance. So that's our FMO. Prinsuco, that's the website, Premier Insurance Contract. Then we have the American Institute of Financial Education, which is the educator, is the one that provides you with the continuous educations like the one that you're going to be getting today, and also with the financial literacy courses for your clients. So that's AINFE. Then we have the American Institute of Digital Marketing, AMIDIM, and basically AMIDIM provides digital marketing education for insurance agents like you. So with AMIDIM, what we do is we teach you, we help you develop a digital marketing strategy so that you can promote your business. Then we have Wealth Management Solutions, which is our personal financial planning by subscription platform. And we have Cashback Universe, which is our institutional cashback platform. So we have 5 different companies. Eventually or sporadically, you will get some type of message from one of them promoting one of the things that we do. For example, tomorrow with AMIDIM, we have a digital marketing class on, we call it AVL, audio, video, and light. And basically, we're going to be having a session where we're going to learn about better presenting yourself in this digital world. And we're going to be talking about the way you should set up your audio and the way you should set up your lights and the way you should set up your cameras and all that. So, and we're going to be experimenting with that tomorrow. That's with AMIDIM. And for example, on Friday, we have with Prinsuco, we have training on Health Sherpa under the Affordable Care Act and under ARPA. So just to give you some of the upcoming events that we have with the different organizations, if you are interested in participating in any one of those events, please make sure that through the chat, you communicate with one of our advisors there, our coaches, and they can give you additional information on any one of the different things that we offer. My name is Al Castellanos. I have been selling financial products for literally, 38 years now. So I didn't start last night, okay? I'm a CFP, so I have been licensed with my insurance license for over 20 years now, so I'm grandfather. I'm a CFP, Certified Financial Planner. I have a master's in financial planning. I have a master's in financial analysis. I completed my PhD studies in personal financial planning, and I have a postgraduate diploma in digital business. All of these certifications and diplomas and all that is what we use to develop all this training and all the platforms that we offer you, the insurance agent. Today, we're going to be talking about the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA. And again, we're going to be talking about the law and some important aspects in the relationship between you, the insurance agent, and the law. It's a very extensive law, but we're going to focus on some fundamental elements that will directly affect the way you conduct business. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing today. The agenda, first, we're going to be talking about what is the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. And then we're going to talk about some very specific things. Number one, we're going to be talking about the advanced premium tax changes, how the advanced premium tax credits are changing, and how the relationship with COBRA is also changing, changes with Medicaid, and then how it affects in terms of stimulus payments, enhanced unemployment, and premium tax credit. You see here that we talk about premium tax credits, and here we talk about advanced premium tax credit, and we're going to see the difference between these two concepts here, APTC and PTC. Additionally, we're going to be talking a little bit about enhanced unemployment. I don't know if you saw the unemployment figures for last month, and it's polemical because supposedly we're not generating enough jobs, and one of the reasons that they're arguing that is happening is because of the enhanced unemployment benefits out there that are creating distortions in many the way people relate to money at this time and to work. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that also. So what is the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021? It was signed into law on March 11th. So basically, it's very recent. If you think about it, it's very recent. And also, this is our second CE course. So basically, in the last 45 days, we were able to digest the law and be able to design these courses. So we did a pretty fast job in terms of synthesizing the law and creating this course. And one very important comment is the fact that there are many things that have not been completed with regards to the law. So there are a lot of things that are still pending, that are open, and you will be needing to stay tuned for the additional changes that are coming. Not everything is already written about the law. Still being written as we speak, because they are adjusting it and making additional clarification on different aspects that are not clear at this time. But basically, if you look at here, basically you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements that are some of the things that the law really wanted to tackle. Number one, it wanted to make the marketplace coverage more affordable. So we're going to see how that happens, how the law makes marketplace coverage more affordable for everybody. And we're going to see specifics about each one of the different groups of people and how this is implemented. Additionally, it gets a lot into COBRA premiums. It subsidizes COBRA premiums. COBRA is something that, and we're going to be talking about that as insurance agents, we don't know that much about. But now with this specific element in the law, you need to know about it because it's going to affect certain elements associated with healthcare coverage, and it's also going to create some opportunities for you. Then we're going to talk about how the law expands Medicaid and CHIP for coverage for women up to 1 year postpartum, and this is something that is going to affect a lot of people. It extends increased unemployment compensation, extends increase. So those are two very important words. Number one, it extends it. Number one, it extends the increased unemployment compensation, which is one of the elements that is creating all this competition between jobs and unemployment. And then additionally, it provides stimulus payments. And a lot of people got checks on this. So these are the 5 elements that we're going to be touching on during the next 2 hours or so. Okay. So let's talk first about the premium tax credit before ARPA. Okay. And basically, we had this 400% premium tax credit cap. And if you all remember, under the Affordable Care Act, basically we had this table. And this table will give us the limits for the premium tax credits and the advanced premium tax credits. And that table tells us that anybody, any household, and that means everybody within the house, all the different individuals inside of that same household, whenever they did their taxes, their tax preparation, who were making between 100% and 400% of the federal poverty level will get premium tax credits. So anybody between 100% of, and we're going to see the numbers now, we're going to see the table now, but basically there is this table that goes from 100% of FPL to 400% of FPL, and anybody there gets some type of subsidy to pay for their monthly premiums. And under the ACA, incomes, anybody, any household making over 400% of FPL were not eligible for premium tax credits. So again, we have this table, 100% to 200% to 400% of FPL. Anybody that falls within that range would get premium tax credits, and anybody outside of that will not get any type of subsidy under ACA. Okay. Now, before we get into how ARPA changes everything, let's go back and let's talk a little bit about the cost structure of a health insurance plan. And this is very important because this will affect the way people spend money and the way the money comes out of people's pockets, the cash flow of individuals when they have one of these health insurance plans. We all know that you have 5 cost elements in a health insurance plan. The 5 cost elements in a health insurance plan are the monthly premium, the deductible, coinsurance, copayment, and the maximum out-of-pocket. Let me change this a little bit like this. Okay, let me do it like this. Okay, so again, premiums, deductibles, coinsurance, copayments, and maximum out-of-pocket. Now, number 2, deductibles and coinsurance and copayment. When you add 2 and 3 and 4, that makes up the maximum out-of-pocket. That makes up number 5, which is the maximum exposure that you're going to be having whenever you have any one of these plans. So again, 5 different cost elements associated with the cost structure of a health insurance plan: premiums, deductibles, coinsurance, copayments, and maximum out-of-pocket. Unfortunately, a lot of people just think about the monthly premium. And unfortunately, a lot of people make decisions about what plan they should have based on the monthly premium. And that's a short vision with regards of what you need to know in order for you to enroll or purchase the right health insurance plan. You need to make sure that you understand all 5 cost elements of the plan, and you need to bring that into your life and see where you are in terms of your health. And based on that mixture, then you need to decide which one is the best plan for you and your family. Additionally, not only for you, but for your family. You might be very healthy, but you might have somebody in your family that is not that healthy. And that's going to influence which should be the plan that you should be getting. So again, very important for you to, from now on, emphasize the fact that the cost structure of a health insurance plan has 5 cost elements. And additionally, I recommend you, and if you want, you can, through the chat, request this graph from one of our coaches. And many agents, what they do is they take this and they put it in a wall, in a nice poster, and that's a topic of conversation. So this is something that will allow you to help explain to individuals the fact that they need to recognize this reality about these 5 elements and how you need to know about all of them in order to make sure that you decide on the most efficient plan for you and your family. So again, the cost structure of a health insurance plan, 5 elements. Now, traditionally, once we got the Affordable Care Act, ACA, how do subsidies help? Well, subsidies help in two different ways. We have the advanced premium tax credit, the APTC, the first element, which basically helps pay for your monthly premium. So the advanced premium tax credit helps pay for your monthly premium. That's number one. And then you have number two, CSRs, cost sharing reductions. And basically on the cost sharing reductions, you get, or the individual gets subsidies to help pay for deductibles, coinsurance, and copayments. Therefore, they get help or subsidies to pay for their maximum out of pocket. So again, the way subsidies work under ACA is that you get one, an advanced premium tax credit to help you pay with your monthly premium, and cost sharing reductions that help pay for the deductible, the coinsurance, and the copayments that, as we mentioned before, they make up the maximum out of pocket. So this is when people get help, they can get help with one, advanced premium tax credit, and with two, cost sharing reductions, or they can get no help, or they can get help for one of the two things. I'm going to see all the different combinations there. So again, this is how under ACA subsidies help. Now, we have a magic number. The magic number is the annual cost sharing limit that for 2021 is for an individual $8,550, and for a family it was $17,100. So this is the annual cost sharing limit. And basically what this number means is the maximum amount of money that will be coming out of your pocket during the 1 year period that you have the product. So the annual cost sharing limit is the totality of the maximum out of pocket that will be coming out of your pocket during 1 year. This is directly related with cost sharing reduction. So basically with these cost sharing reductions, what you're trying to do is getting subsidies, getting help to not having to pay that maximum number that is defined on a yearly basis by the federal government under the annual cost sharing limit. So what you're trying to do is get this 17,000 down, or get this 8,550 down. So that's your ceiling. And with CSR, with cost sharing reduction, you're trying to bring that down for you if you are an individual, or for you and your family if you are a household with more than one individual. So this is a very important number. The annual cost sharing limits, you need to know that number, and all of the platform is based on this. Now, this here is the 2021 federal poverty level chart, and it will include cost sharing reductions. Now, for those of you who have been participating in our training for several years, and by the way, we have been doing ACA since it first started. We are one of the largest FMOs in the nation under ACA, and we have been training agents for many years on this. And this is what we came up with. And every year we update this table. By the way, it was just updated. I just updated it for April the 15th. So these are the latest numbers. This is the latest numbers. Normally, they update them more or less around February. But when the annual enrollment comes in November, we have to use the last year's table. And then when they update it, this works for next year. So this is actually the 2021 numbers already. And basically here, everything that you see there, it's important. You need to know everything there. The colors, the lines, the numbers, everything there is important. Again, it's all about the household size, which is basically the number of people. When you do your taxes, how many people do you have in your tax forms? So that's basically the household size. And remember, under ACA, we had from 100% to 400% of FPL in 2021 100% of FPL for a household size of 1 is $12,800. Okay, and then so 400% will be four times that. So it will be 4 times 13,000. So that will be like 51,500. And then you add more or less for each additional person in the family around $4,500. So if you take this number here and you add $4,500 you get here, and then $4,500 you get here, and $4,500 you get. That's how you build up the table. We have been working with this table so much that we can do it in our minds, because with what I just told you, you don't need anything else to really build the table. Again, remember, basically you start with around $13,000. That's 100% of FPL. And then obviously you multiply by 2, that will be twice as much. If you multiply by 4, that will be 4 times that number. And then if you start going down the table, it's for $4,500, give or take $4,500 more for each additional household. And if you are between 100 and 150% of FPL, so if you are in this first group here, let me make it different here. If you are anywhere in this box here, okay, you will get help with your premium tax credit. So you will get help to pay for your monthly premiums. And if you're at 200%, you will also get help with your monthly premium. And if you're at 250%, you will also get help with your monthly premium, and all the way to 400%. So if you are anywhere between 100% and 400% of FPL, you will get help with your monthly premium. Anywhere between 100% and 400% of FPL, you will get help with your monthly premiums. Now, additionally, if you select a silver plan, and this is just for silver plans, then you will also get help for cost sharing reductions. Remember element number 2. And the way that works is if you get between 100 and 150% of FPL, you will get help for up to 94% of the actuarial value of the plan. If you are up to 200% of FPL, you get up to 87%. And if you are up to 250%, you get up to 73% of what? 73% of this number. Okay, so you remember how I told you that it was all about bringing this number down? So depending where you are in the table, you can get down up to 94% of that number, or down up to 87% of that number, or down up to 73% of that number. Now, if you make more than 300% of FPL all the way to 400, you will not get help with cost sharing reductions, but you do get help for the premium tax credit. Now that's ACA, the Affordable Care Act. Now we're going to see how ARPA builds on that. Some of the fundamental elements stay there, but other things change. Some fundamental things change. Remember how I mentioned what was the spirit of the law? And the spirit of the law was to make marketplace coverage more affordable for everybody. Now, this table here did not cover everybody. It only covered people from 100% of FPL to 400% of FPL. And the spirit of the law is to make it more affordable to everybody. So they had to adjust this table to be able to make marketplace coverage more affordable to everybody. So let's see how they started changing things in order to convey the spirit of the law. So let's continue moving. We have another thing, the Medicaid Gap. And the way the Medicaid Gap works is very important, because here you have the marketplace subsidy. This line here is 100% of FPL. This line here is 100% of FPL. So the subsidies, the table that we were looking at, started here at 100% of FPL. And as we mentioned before, it goes all the way to 400% of FPL. So this is the range. So anybody that was here on this part of the blue umbrella, this is the 100 to 400% of FPL, will get some type of subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Now, the other thing that happened is you had this 100% line here, and you had no coverage for these people here, and then more or less at 40% of FPL, you have Medicaid helping people. So you had this gap, which was a big problem under the law, because you would have somebody at 100% of FPL or 105% of FPL, which they would get a substantial subsidy for their monthly premium and the cost sharing. But if they made less than 100% of FPL, they didn't get any type of help. And that was absurd. You know, how come somebody that makes less money doesn't get any help and somebody that makes more money gets a lot of help? Well, that was part of the way the law was designed, because they were counting with the fact that they were going to expand Medicaid. So they were going to take this line here and move it all the way here, and supposedly everybody was going to be covered on the Medicaid. Well, guess what? That never happened. So for the last 8 years, we have had this situation where we have the marketplace starting at 100%, and you have people below 100%, which do not get any type of coverage because Medicaid didn't expand. This line didn't move all the way here. One of the things that ARPA is doing is, instead of trying to move this line from here to here, it's taking some specific individuals in this arena here and moving them to this side. And those are the 5 points that we saw at the beginning. What they're doing, again, let me repeat that. They're taking people that were under this area here, and under some very specific circumstances, they are moving them to the marketplace subsidy, therefore increasing the number of people that are going to be benefiting from the subsidies provided by ARPA. And that is going to allow you to enroll more individuals on the one of these ARPA plans. That's why you need to know about them. Again, they were not thinking about, even though there are measures to expand the Medicaid, and we're going to see that, the most important thing that we're going to look at today is the fact that there are some very specific individuals that fall under this part of the umbrella, which they are moving to the marketplace subsidies. And we're going to see how that works. I'm going to be coming back to this topic a couple of times during the presentation today. Okay. So the first thing, and again, there are different elements to it. Let's go by part. So let's talk about the first group. Not the most important group, but we need to start somewhere. So the first thing that happened, or the first thing we're going to mention that happened, is the removal of the 400% premium tax credit cap. The removal of the 400% premium tax credit cap. And I see a lot of people raising their hand there. What you can do is, please, in the chat, ask your question. Depending on how much time we have, we will try to answer a couple of questions. But I will not be answering questions during the presentation. I want to make sure that I cover all the material, and then we will open, again, a Q&A depending on how much time we have available. So ask your questions through the chat, and we will try to get to them depending on how much time we have available at the end. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. The first thing, or one of the things that ARPA did, was that for those individuals or households with income above 400% of FPL, what they did is that the law says now that nobody, even including the affluent, which were excluded in the past because of the 400% limit, today no household should be spending more than, and this is the magic number, 8.5% of their household income towards the premiums for what they call a benchmark plan. Now, that's a little bit confusing when you talk about, okay, what is the premiums of a benchmark plan? And basically, and I don't want to get into more specifics because we don't have enough time, but basically we're talking about the second lowest price silver plan available for the individual. So it might change for each part of the country, okay? So what they do is they take the second lowest silver plan, and that's the benchmark. That's the benchmark. Now, what they do is they take the household income, and again, a family should not be spending more than 85% of their household income paying for that plan. So what this does is that if their monthly premium is more than 85% of their household income, then they will get a subsidy, they will get a premium tax credit to pay for the difference so that it stays at 8.5% of the household income. So again, with this measure, what they did is they expanded, they took that limit that we had in that table, and I know I shouldn't be going back and forth but I like doing it. Basically, they extended this 400%. Now people that were on this side that previously under ACA did not get any type of help, now all these people here, so the affluent can get a subsidy based on 8.5% of their household income. That's the maximum they should be spending, so they can get help. So the affluent individuals that before didn't get any type of subsidy, now they can get some subsidies. Okay, so that's number one. So let me go back there. So again, they removed the 400% premium tax credit cap, and they made subsidies available for more affluent individuals. And let me tell you what I mean by affluent. For example, if you look at the table, we're talking here about a family of two. In the past, a family of two, if they made more than $70,000 a year, remember, two people in the household, they will get no help at all. If they made 70,000, well, guess what? Now, if they make 75,000 or 80,000, they might get subsidy. So you see how it expanded the table, because now this 400% limit is not there anymore. Now, what you need to know is that if you move to the right of that is 8.5% of household income versus the second lowest silver plan. Don't worry about that. The computer calculates all that, but you need to understand what is it that you're doing, because this is going to give you the elements for you to approach more affluent individuals and try to get them to enroll into one of these plans and enjoy the subsidy that they're providing to everybody. Additionally, it creates a lot of strategies with group health insurance. We're not going to cover that in this CE class today, but you can come to another one of our trainings and see how you can move people from group to individuals and other things that you can do based on this aspect of the law. So let me continue. So that's number one, the removal of the 400% premium tax credit cap. Element number one, that directly brings the affluent into the mix. Okay, now remember we said that the idea for ARPA was to provide enhanced benefits for all household income levels. We just saw how it will help people over 400% of FPL. But here we're talking about enhanced premium tax credit benefits for all household income levels. Now, very important, we're talking about premium tax credit. We're not talking about cost sharing reduction. Remember I told you there are two elements. I remember how I mentioned the 5 elements of an insurance plan: premium, deductible, co-insurance, co-payments, and maximum out-of-pocket. Well, we're talking just about the premium tax credit. We're not talking about all of these elements here. Very important. We're going to see how that works in terms of you helping people. So let's go back here. Okay, so consumers with household income between 100 and 150% of FPL may be eligible for coverage options with 0 premium. So let's go back to the table. Let's go back to the table. So we're talking here about everybody here, basically all households. We're talking about all households, no matter how many people in the household, that fall between 100 and 150%. So anybody in this box here, basically today thanks to the effects of the ARPA, can get a health insurance plan with a 0 monthly premium. Now, that does not mean that it costs 0. It means that they will get a subsidy, a premium tax credit to pay for the totality of the monthly premium. So again, between 100 and 150%, anybody in America today should be able to get a plan that costs them $0 per month. Now, is that the best plan for that family? We don't know. But we can say that they can get a plan for 0 monthly premium, which I wouldn't say many instances or most instances, but it does happen where that might not be the best plan for the family. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Okay, anyway, so let's go back here. Group number 2, 4 out of 5 enrollees will be able to find a plan for 10 or less after advance payments of the premium tax credit. So let's look at this. 4 out of 5 enrollees. So that means if we go back to the table, 4 out of 5 individuals, 80% of the individuals here, and remember, we're talking about households. We're not just talking about individuals. We're talking about the household. That means the individual and their family based on their household size can get a product or a plan for under $10 a month. So that's when they're talking about making it more affordable to everybody. That's what they meant by that. And let's go to number 3. Over 50%, that means 1 out of every 2 individuals or households will be able to find a silver plan for $10 or less after the advanced premium tax credit. So what does that mean? Okay, now remember, let me go back to the table. That means people, remember that in order for you to be able to get cost sharing reductions, you need to buy a silver plan. Okay, remember that. Now, what they're saying here, let's go to that statement there. What they're saying here is that 1 out of 2 individuals will be able to find a silver plan for $10 or less for after the advanced premium tax credit. What is the importance of this statement here? The importance of this statement is that the individual will get all the benefits associated with the premium tax credit. And if they move to a silver plan, they can get all the cost sharing reductions that are already included in the silver plan. And that is going to have consequences on the individuals and the household finances and cash flow. And we're going to see how that works in a while. Okay. Another thing that is very important with ARPA is the applicability, the time horizon. This is not a permanent element. So you have to be very careful. Now we're going to have at the end a summary of all the different time horizons for the different elements of the law, or the ones that we're going to be covering today. But basically, this specific element here are for plans in 2021 and 2022. So we're not talking about 2023. This is just valid for 2021 and for 2022. So it's 2 years of these specific benefits under the law. Okay, so let's continue. So when is the marketplace implementing all these APTC changes? It started on April. Remember, the law was signed on March 11th, and it was initially intended to be implemented as of April the 1st. So think about that. Think about that. 20 days. So they signed this law on March 11th, and on April the 1st, 20 days later, it was going to be in force. Well, guess what? You have to change all the computing structure in healthcare.gov and all the insurance companies in order to make these changes. So at the beginning, it was very chaotic because all these insurance companies and the marketplace and everybody is trying to adjust their software and adjust their platform for all of these. And guess what? You might get the most important thing to work, but you might get something back there or down there that is not working, and then you have issues. That's why I always say to everybody that goes through any one of our trainings that whenever you get changes like this, you should not do things the first couple of days because they're still adjusting. I mean, these are some monumental adjustments that they need to make to this extensive code, okay, to be able to make sure that it provides all the specific details on all aspects of the law. And in many instances, when they're rushing through it, they do it wrong, and you end up having issues and having the system, collapsing or, down or things like that. That's because of all that. Okay. So very important. Anybody that is submitting a new application to the marketplace, and remember, all of this is through the marketplace. You don't get any of these subsidies if you're not inside the marketplace. So anybody that is submitting a new marketplace application, now remember that back in February, they created this SEP that initially was going to go to June, and then they extended it to August. So we have an SEP going on. And then on top of that SEP, then we have the ARPA on top of that. So you have this mixture of stuff going on, and you need to be very careful what you're talking about, because you need to understand what it is that you're trying to convey, okay? But the important thing is this, that anybody that is submitting a new marketplace application, which they could do because of the SEP, remember that we had an SEP, so now they could do it, or somebody that is resubmitting an existing marketplace application, somebody that was already in the market, so they already had a product, and you have obviously millions of that. We had 12.3 million people already in the marketplace. Anybody that submits a new application or that is already or resubmits an application will get a new eligibility result. That eligibility result reflects the additional advanced premium tax credit that they qualify for. Now, and this is not valid anymore. This point here is not valid anymore because this was when they first came out with April the 1st. Remember, this was going to be implemented as of May the 1st, but you did have an SEP in April. So you could go in April, okay, and enroll, and then the new advanced premium tax credit will kick in as of May the 1st. So as of the first of the month of May is when you do start receiving this additionally advanced premium tax credit. Now, the marketplace will not be providing retroactive advanced premium tax credit for any month before May 2021. But if when you file your taxes next year, you will be getting those credits. So again, there's not going to be retroactive cash paid to anybody, but the money, the advanced premium tax credit is not lost. When they file for their taxes in 2022, at the beginning of 2022, for the 2021 fiscal year, they will get the advanced premium tax credit starting from the month of January. They don't get retroactive cash in May, but they do not lose that advanced premium tax credit that they had there during this January, February, March, April, during 4 months. So they don't lose that money. So it's very important to understand that. Basically, everybody's going to have a little bit of a buffer there, a little money under the mattress when they do their taxes in February of next year, because of that portion of the advanced premium tax credit that they were entitled to for the first months of the year, but that they couldn't get because the actual enactment was as of May the 1st. So there is a little bit of money there for them coming in next year. Okay, let's continue now. Here, what we're going to do is we're going to pinpoint some specific elements associated with how an insurance agent can help with these advanced premium tax credit changes. And remember that we were talking about different groups. We're talking about different groups. So the first one, let me emphasize it here so we know where we're, let me change it like this here. So there was a bunch of people out there before who didn't enroll in the marketplace because they thought that it was too expensive. And again, I can mention some anecdotes. I remember one time this individual came to me, and he had a family of 4, so it was 4 kids plus him, so a family of 6. And you know, we ran through the numbers, and he had to pay like $25 a month. $25 a month for a plan, for a silver plan. This was a couple of years ago. And he said, he stood up and he left. He said, no, that's too expensive. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that somebody would leave all their family unprotected with no insurance because they thought that $25 a month for a family plan, family of 6, was too expensive. So the point is that there is people out there that they believe that it was too expensive, and they didn't enroll into any one of these plans. So you need to inform those individuals, hey, there are additional subsidies now. If you did not enroll into one of these plans, you need to go in again and check it out again, because now it's even less expensive for you. So that's group number 1, individuals who have not enrolled in the marketplace previously. Group number 1. Group number 2, individuals who are already receiving an advanced premium tax credit. Those individuals, in most instances, may be eligible for additional advanced premium tax credit. So you need to inform them that they should return to the marketplace, and they need to update their application and re-enroll into a plan to see how much additional advanced premium tax credit they might get. So that's group number 2, individuals who were already in the marketplace. Group number 3, those individuals who were over 400% of the FPL, the affluent individual that we spoke about at the beginning, all that group of people over 400% of FPL, which in many instances, they went in a different route. Maybe they got a short-term medical plan, or they did some type of different type of protection for the health insurance. They might come back and apply again, and now most probably they're going to get something way more economical. So that's group number 3, the affluent. So we have 3 groups here. The ones that were not in because they thought it was too expensive, but they were not affluent, like the story that I mentioned. Number 2, the ones who were already receiving advanced premium tax credit. And number 3, the affluent. So there you have the 3 groups there. Now, it's very important for people that, to update their application if they want to get the new eligibility results. It's not automatic. So they have to go and they have to reapply. They have to adjust it. And we're going to see how that's done today here in the course. But they have to update their application. They have to go back into the marketplace and they have to reapply. Now, the marketplace has provided 2 specific tools to help with all of this process. Number 1, what they call the income levels and savings tool, and it's located on healthcare.gov/lower cost. And there they can see how much saving they may qualify for. So they don't have to apply through the whole process. They can go to the income levels and savings tool at healthcare.gov/lower cost, and they can see how much additional subsidy they can get. That's tool number 1. Or they can go to, let me go here, to the window shopping tool at healthcare.gov, and that is healthcare.gov/C plans, and they can compare plans. to see how much savings or how much additional savings they could qualify for. So again, two very specific tools where they can go to in order to see how much additional money they could get. So that's what you need to do as an insurance agent. You need to tell people to log in or go to the marketplace and use the income level and savings tools or do some window shopping in order to see how much additional subsidies they could get. Those are specific things that you as an insurance agent can do to help individuals with the advanced premium tax credit changes. Additionally, this is very important. Remember what I was telling you about the fact that not necessarily the plan with the lowest premium is the best premium, and you need to take into consideration the cost structure of the plan. And here we touch on that, and this is something very important that you need to take into consideration. Individuals need to know how much money they have already paid toward the deductibles and their annual limits. They need to know exactly where they are with the cost sharing when making a decision about changing plans. And this is very important because if you do it, let's say in the month of May or June, and you had some major surgery in February or March, and you already went through your deductible, and you had a hefty deductible in your plan, if you change plans, basically everything will be reset to zero, and you're going to have to start again with your deductibles and your coinsurance and your copayments. Okay, so this is very important. So anybody that has been subject to some type of high cost, high healthcare management cost during the first part of the year and already went through their deductibles should think twice before changing plans, unless they have an additional, big surgery, so they're going to be spending way more than the limits, and then they might consider. But in general, if somebody has already gone through the deductibles, they should think twice before moving to a different plan. And you, as an insurance agent, need to make sure that you bring that and you quantify exactly where they are and you foresee their expenses for the rest of the year to see which one is the best decision for them. If you don't do that, and that individual is hit with new deductibles and new coinsurance and new copayments because they have all these additional surgeries that they need to get, they might come back to you and get you in trouble for lousy advice. So again, very important, consumers should know how much they have already spent, and they need to understand that if they move to a different plan, they're going to bring down back to zero all the deductibles and coinsurance and copayments, and they need to go through that threshold one more time. Now, some people do not want to opt for the advanced premium tax credit, or they did it, they went initially and they were told that they were not, they didn't qualify for the subsidies. Well, with all these changes, many of those individuals might be eligible for the subsidies when they'll file for their income taxes next year. So again, and this is something that that you need to decide what you want to do, because if somebody, and we're going to cover that I think in another slide here, but basically, if you don't do anything about it, you do not lose your benefits. You just postpone the receiving the actual cash flow associated with it. And that is very important. Again, very important, there is a lot of tools in the marketplace. You can direct consumers to all these different tools for them to get additional information. Now, be careful with that, because you don't want to be sending your client to the marketplace for them to start playing around with that, and maybe they take you out of the loop and now you are not their agent anymore. So make sure that whenever you direct any one of these individuals to the marketplace, you stay close to them and make sure you are in control of the whole process, and make sure that your name stays as the agent of record, or let them know that if they are going to go by themselves, to please make sure that they include you as the individual, the agent that is helping them, so that you don't lose your book of business and you don't lose your commission. So very important that you, every time that you direct individuals to the marketplace, which is a fantastic tool, make sure that you don't lose your business because of doing that. Okay, let's continue. So again, anybody, and this is more valid for the people that were already enrolled between the periods of April the 1st and May the 1st. All those individuals who were already there, they needed to wait until these new changes kicked in order to reapply. So they needed to wait for the system to start in order for them to start getting all the benefits. This is not valid anymore because we already went through that threshold. And right now, anybody that goes into the marketplace to either revise their plan or to come in as a through the SEP that we have in place at this time, they can have it with an effective date of the 1st of the following month. So that's something that it's easy right now. It's not as confusing as it was during the month of April. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Here we're going to talk about the specific points, the specific things, the steps that an individual needs to go through in the marketplace website in order to apply for these additional premium tax credits. So number one, obviously log into healthcare.gov. Let me change it. Let me go like this. Log into healthcare.gov. They need to go, they will see their name there, and I'm going to show you some images on that. But they need to select My Applications and Coverage. And by the way, this presentation will be, it's been recorded and will be in all of our channels as of probably 2 days from now. So we have a YouTube channel, so you can watch this presentation in our YouTube channel. In the Prinsuco website, we also have a PIC agent channel there, where you can also watch this presentation there. And we have a Roku channel. Our Roku channel is called Total Financial Governance. And if you want more information on that, please shoot us an email or make a comment through the chat, and we'll provide you with the information, because you can watch the totality of this presentation again in any one of our different channels. Again, the YouTube channel, the Prinsuco agent channel, or the Roku channel that we have that is called Total Financial Governance. So I am giving you the specifics of the process, but you can always go back and watch it again and make sure you cover, all aspects of it. So again, you go to My Applications and Coverage, look for that, and go under your existing applications and select that 2021 application that you have at this time in force. So you're going to select that one. And then you're going to select Report a Life Change. You're going to select Report a Life Change. And you're going to scroll down, and there is again, you have to click on Report a Life Change. And then you're going to select Report a Change in my household income, size, address, or other information. So you're going to select that and click Continue. That is the process on how to reapply for additional premium tax credit. So that's the process right there. And then you're going to, once you open the application, you're going to continue through the application. You're going to update any necessary information that you might have. Things might not have changed. So if you don't need to update anything, you just don't update anything. Everything is already up to date. And then you need to sign. Obviously, this is a digital signature, and submit the application to complete the update process. Then you're going to see the eligibility notice. So you're going to select view eligibility notice to open the update eligibility determination. Now, very important, everybody in healthcare.gov, they have, when you see communication, you have all your different emails and forms that you have had with the marketplace all the time. One of the things that I do, we get this power from the client, and this is something that we have in our website, that if you want information on that, we can also provide you with that information. In fact, it's mandatory, so everybody should do it, where you get this power where the client authorizes you to work on their behalf. But the point is that you take this eligibility notice and you save it. You have to be careful, because remember, you already have an eligibility notice for 2021, which is the one that you did back in November or December. So you need to make sure that you save this new eligibility notice, update the name of the eligibility notice on the client's file, so that you have a record of all the different eligibility notices that they have received, because that includes the level of subsidy that they're going to be getting. So again, make sure that you have a chain of documents with all the different eligibility notices of your clients, and make sure, because the name that is originally provided by the marketplace is something that nobody can recognize. So make sure you put the name of the client and the date and all that, so that you can easily find it if you need to look at anything. And then you select continue to enrollment. When you click on continue to enrollment, you're going to get to the plan selection area, and you can either reselect your current plan, or you can choose a new plan. And again, they should go through the whole process, and then they need to sign to confirm their updated APTC amount. So that's the process. Again, you can watch this in our channels, and it's here. It's very, very specific, step by step. Make sure you follow that. Now, here it is visually. Number one, you go to My Applications and Coverage there. That's number one. And then when you go in there, it's going to say whatever the client's name is, what would you like to do? And then you're going to go where it says your existing application. So you're going to select the 2021 completed application. You need to make sure that is the complete application. You might have 2 or 3 different applications, ones that have been terminated. Make sure you select the completed application here. So that's step number 2 on your existing applications. Then you're going to select report a life change here. Report a life change there. That's number 3. Report a life change right there. Report a life change right there. And then you're going to select report a change in my household's income, size, address, or other information. You're going to click here. Okay, that's where you click. You click right there, and then you click on continue. That is the process. Okay, that's how you're going to get to the place where you need to update all the information. So that's a process. Again, if you repeat it 1 or 2 times, you will be able to do it very easily. We also have on the American Institute of Digital Marketing, in our educational platform with the American Institute of Digital Marketing, we have a training course on the whole process of enrolling in the healthcare.gov platform. That's a course that is at no cost to you, that includes around 15 different videos on all the different scenarios of all the different combinations and possibilities in terms of household structures, that is explained by the federal government, by CMS. We just put it on our own platform and gave it a specific order, and that should be first-class training for you to learn how to go through all this process and how to be able to cope with any one of the different scenarios that you might run into. Because once you start doing this, especially if you have a lot of clients, you run into many different situations. And if you do that training, you're going to be able to handle 95% of the situations that you run into. So very important, again, under one of our educational platforms, that's under our AMIDIN platform, the American Institute of Digital Marketing, we have direct training. If you want information on that, please communicate through the chat with one of our coaches and we'll provide you with that information. Okay. Finally, you get your eligibility notice. Remember what I mentioned about that. Make sure you open it. It's a PDF document. Open it. Change the name. Don't stay with that horrible long sequence of numbers because you will never be able to find the client if you do that. Make sure you have some type of process of how you name your files and make sure you have everything on there, very well organized and obviously very well secure. Remember all the HIPAA laws. You don't want to have any problems on that. So make sure that everything is properly covered so that you don't run into any type of issues because of somebody hacking your computer or you losing your computer or anything like that. We have seen several cases of that, and believe me, it's no fun when somebody hacks your computer or you leave your computer in a Burger King and you lost it, your laptop. I mean, well, you have to go as an agent. If something like that happens to you, you cannot start imagining the process that you have to do to stay compliant. If you just stay quiet and don't say anything, and somebody finds out, you will be terminated as an insurance agent. So you need to make sure to take all of this very seriously and make sure that you are properly protected so that you don't get in any type of trouble. Okay, very important. Okay, let's continue. Well, what happens if somebody is already in the marketplace and they just don't come back? So remember we mentioned this at the beginning. If you don't do anything, if the individual doesn't do anything, that does not mean that they are not eligible for the advanced premium tax credit if they are eligible. What's going to end up happening is that tax credit will be provided to that individual when they file and they reconcile their 2021 taxes next year. So they will get the refund, let's put it that way, in February of next year. Now, we strongly recommend that you don't wait for that to happen. We want to make sure, especially if you already have a book of business, that you contact all your clients, everybody that you are related to, and that you go with them through the process and make sure you give them that advanced premium tax credit as fast as possible. Because you have a lot of agents and a lot of organizations calling these people and getting them all confused and lying to them, telling them things that are not true. And they can take your clients away from you, and that would be bad. So again, we strongly recommend, even though if somebody doesn't do anything, somebody that is already enrolled and doesn't do anything, they will not lose their eligibility if they are eligible. But we strongly recommend that you review everybody's plan and that you give everybody the additional advanced premium tax credit that they are entitled to as soon as possible, right now. Don't wait for it to happen next year, because you can lose your client if somebody calls them or anything can happen. So strong recommendation there. It's a red flag. Do not be passive about all these changes. Engage, approach your clients, and make sure you get them everything they're entitled to based on the ARPA new benefits. Okay. If somebody does not have marketplace coverage, what should they do? Remember what we mentioned at the beginning, that we do have an SEP. We have an SEP that started in February and goes all the way to August. Now, additionally to that SEP, we have this new situation. So basically, anybody that does not have marketplace coverage right now can go and apply. And they need to make sure they do it as fast as possible. Now, here we talk about a situation where if they were back in April where we had an SEP, but the benefits would not kick in until May, those individuals needed to go in 2 times. So if you enrolled somebody in the month of April, when we did have an SEP, so they could enroll, but they didn't get the benefits because the benefits would kick in as of May the 1st. Those individuals need to come back in May and apply, because they did get into the marketplace, but they didn't get into the ARPA benefits because they were not available when they did apply. So if they come in, if they are new to the market during the month of April of this year, they need to now, during the month of May, make sure that they reapply in order for them to get their benefits. Very important, because if you apply before the benefits kicked in May the 1st, they are not automatic. You have to reapply. So very important that you understand that. Now, if they apply now, there is no problem. Now, whatever plan they select, it will already include the additional benefits. So this was just for the case of individuals who were in this overlap of the SEP that started in February and the startup of the benefits, which was May the 1st. If somebody enrolled new to the marketplace during that time, they need to make sure that they go back and apply for the additional benefits. But if somebody's doing it as of today or in the month of May, that is not the case, and you will get all the benefits that you are entitled to with the effective date of the 1st of the following month. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about reconciliation. Reconciliation is a very important part of everything that has to do with ACA and with ARPA. And basically everybody more or less sometime in early February gets the IRS form 1095A. And that form basically shows how much money was paid on their behalf. So the 1095 that everybody gets says, okay, hey, you got $900 per month for 12 months of last year. So that's the 1095 form. With that form, the individual goes to his tax preparer and they do a reconciliation, which is IRS form 8962, the premium tax credit IRS form 8962. That's the form that the tax preparer used to reconcile those advance payments. Now, when you do that, when you reconcile, you end up with 2 numbers. Number 1, how much it should have been. And number 2, how much it actually was. So you get this, and the reconciliation is precisely to compare those 2 numbers, and any difference between those 2 numbers will signify a refund to the consumer or an amount of tax owed. So again, the individual goes through the whole year. In February, early February, they get the 1095A form. They take that to their tax preparer. They hand it over to the person that does their taxes. The tax preparer processes form 8962 that reconciles the advance payments. Then we end up with 2 numbers, what it was, what it should have been. You calculate the difference, and that signifies either a refund for the individual, that means additional money that he didn't file, that he didn't get upfront, or that they owe some money. So that's the traditional reconciliation before ARPA. Now, this is very important. This is another fundamental change here. Additional reconciliation before ARPA. Now, repayment of excess advance premium tax credit for the 2020 tax year is not required. For 2020, if somebody owes money, this is a fact. For 2020, remember we're already in 2021, so this is a done deal. You cannot go back and change things. This already happened. Either you do or you don't, but it's already in the past. But if you owe money, then you don't have to pay it. Now, and remember what I told you about the fact that they're still writing the code. The IRS will provide additional guidance with all these provisions. Okay, so they still don't have it in writing in terms of exactly how this is going to work. But the fact is that if you owe money because of the tax reconciliation for 2020, you do not have to repay that money. And again, that's only for year 2020. So that's a very interesting additional help right there for those who said that they were going to make X amount of money and ended up making way more money than that. Normally, you would have to pay back a lot of the advanced premium tax credit. Well, with this, you don't have to do that. So what happens when you have a situation when the projected advanced premium tax credit is greater than the actual one? Again, they will not be responsible for repaying the advanced premium tax credit. And as I mentioned before, the IRS is still waiting. So I still deciding. They haven't put these additional instructions out on how they're going to be managing this. Now, there is an important note here, and that is the fact that, remember, some people file their taxes really early. If somebody already filed their taxes for 2020, the instruction is, and they did it before this guidance came out, the instruction is that they should not go back and file any type of amendment or try to adjust things. Wait. If you already did it, if you already filed your taxes and didn't include this additional benefit that you have here because it was not there when you filed your taxes, then what they're recommending to do is not to do anything and wait for additional releases for updated guidance. Okay, so again, if somebody had a situation when they did the reconciliation for 2020 for the 2020 taxes, where they had a projected advanced premium tax credit which was greater than the actual amount for 2020, and they already filed for their taxes, then they should wait. They should not go and try to amend anything. They should wait for additional instruction. That's what we're talking about. There are a lot of things that are not clear yet, and you have to be careful and patient. Okay, patient in the process to make sure that you don't rush into anything that is not convenient for you. And there is some additional information on the IRS website. By the way, I strongly recommend you as an insurance agent to go into the IRS website at least once a month and just glance around on any one of the different products that you sell. Just pick up any document. If you sell life insurance, if you sell final expenses, if you sell annuities, if you sell Medicare Advantage, if you sell ACA, go there and at the IRS website and learn how to read about those products that you sell. It's very well organized. It's abundant in terms of knowledge. And in fact, you have certain pieces that you can provide to your clients, which are going to really educate them and give you some, elevate you as an advisor to them. So again, strongly recommend that you go to the IRS website and check out the materials and the content that they have available, which is really good. Okay, let's go now to the unemployment compensation authorized by ARPA. And this is a little bit polemical because ARPA basically extended the unemployment compensation. They call it the Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation, FPUC, $300 per week. That's $1,200 a month of supplemental benefit. That means on top of the other one. So for anybody that was collecting unemployment, so anybody that was under unemployment, now they're getting an additional $1,200 a month, $300 a week. Now, this is creating a problem because a lot of people now, they don't want to go back to work. They're getting unemployment plus this additional money. They don't want to go back to work, and it's creating issues with a lot of businesses, small businesses, because they don't have enough employees, etc. That's another point. But the point is that anybody that is getting unemployment is now entitled to additional unemployment compensation of $300 per week, and all unemployment income should be reported to the marketplace. So whenever they're going to apply to the marketplace, they have to report the unemployment compensation. Now, that money is not countable, will not add up when determining eligibility for Medicaid and for CHIPS. And the marketplace will continue to subtract this amount when calculating current income, okay? So the point is this. The point is that any type of benefit that an individual is getting under ARPA, they have to report everything. But basically, it's not going to be taken into consideration. It's not going to be added when they're calculating levels of income to see where you are in terms of the charts and all that. So that's the point. So nobody should be hiding any money that they're getting. That's a bad way of doing things in the past, where people will lie and say, no, don't say that I'm making this money, or don't say that I'm making that money. Well, you don't have to do that, because that money is not going to be counted. But you are obligated by law to report any type of subsidy or benefit that you're getting. Very important that you go through that. And again, there is an applicability date. This is through September of 2021. The way I see things, I don't believe in these applicability dates anymore, because they change everything all the time. So that's the one that is written there right now. They might change it tomorrow to November or to December. The way I'm looking at this today is probably we're going to have some type of SEP that goes all year long. And when you have an SEP that is all year long, then you don't have an SEP anymore. Basically, you have open enrollment. That's how I see it. So again, you need to know that at this point is applicable until September the 6th of 2021. But I wouldn't, that's not written in stone. That's my point there. So just make sure you know that they're there. Okay. So remember, we said the fact that ARPA the objective was to make premium tax credits for everybody. Anybody that received any type of benefit, they must attest that they have received it. Very important. Now, remember, let me go back to this chart here, the Medicaid Gap. This is very important. Remember what I told you here, that one of the things that ARPA was doing is it was taking some individuals that were here under the no coverage gap here, and it's moving them to the marketplace subsidies, okay? And there were some very specific individuals in this group that they were moving to this group instead of trying to expand Medicaid for everybody, which didn't work last time. Well, with the unemployment, it's one of these individuals. So if you want to put it this way, one of these guys here that is supposedly unemployed, if somebody is unemployed because of the fact that they're unemployed, automatically they qualify for subsidies. Automatically, and this part here is not clear, but let me just, they are going to be, and this one has not been ratified, so I don't want, it's not written in stone, but this is what I heard, and I haven't been able to confirm it. But basically, anybody that was under this area here, under the no coverage area, and they are unemployed and they're receiving some type of unemployment benefit, automatically they are moved to the marketplace subsidies, and they're assuming, and I'm sorry here, oops, they're assuming that they are at 138% of FPL. So they're assuming that they're right here. So they will be able, they are entitled, and they qualify for the maximum cost sharing reductions under the silver plan. And remember what we said at the beginning, that anybody that is in this box here from 100 to 150% of FPL, anybody here basically can get a plan for $0 and additionally, they qualify for the maximum cost sharing reduction for a silver plan. And the people that are getting unemployment just because of the fact that they're getting unemployment, automatically they are here. And I read somewhere that they were going to be positioned at 138% of FPL, so it's right here. So they get all the benefits. Now remember, additionally, we mentioned the fact that that unemployment compensation will not be counted as compensation to calculate all of this. So the sheer fact that individuals are unemployed and are here will qualify them for the maximum level of subsidies under ARPA with the advanced premium tax credit, which is basically they're going to end up paying $0 per month for the monthly premium, and the maximum level of cost sharing reductions because they are in the category where they can get 94% of cost sharing under the silver plan. So anybody here unemployed, automatically you can qualify them. In the past, if you had somebody that was here, you could not enroll them in a marketplace plan. Well, guess what? Now you can. So if somebody's getting unemployment, you say, hey, you have unemployment, let me help you. I can get you into a very good plan, and I can maximize the level of subsidy that you're getting, both for the advanced premium tax credit, so that's your monthly premium, and cost sharing reduction. So whatever you have to pay in terms of deductibles and coinsurance and copayments is reduced to the minimum expression possible. Okay, let me go back here. And I know that I'm jumping around, but I just want to make sure that so we already went through this. So this is the compensation. We already went through that conversation there. Okay, and this is where we're talking consumers who meet the criteria will also be eligible for CSR. That's what we were talking about, that they can qualify for a silver plan. So they get super advanced premium tax credit and they can qualify for a silver plan here. Okay. Again, very important, any money that they get will not be accounted for any type of additional help that they might get for Medicaid or for CHIPS or anything like that. And the applicability date for the time being, 2021. And again, nobody knows how that's going to stay or change or whatever. So just know that it's for 2021, but nobody knows how that's going to change. Okay. Now, there are some additional savings for individuals that are receiving unemployment, but they have not been quantified yet. So we should all wait for some type of additional instructions that they have been saying all the time that is going to be somewhere during the summer or in June, where they're going to be coming out. CMS is going to be coming out with additional releases and more details where they are going to tell individuals who receive unemployment compensation how much of additional advanced premium tax credit they might get. Again, this is something that is not clear yet, so I don't want to make too much noise about this. But what I do want to emphasize is the fact that all types of unemployment compensation should be reported to the marketplace. So people should not hide anything. None of the benefits that they're getting under any one of the different avenues created by ARPA are going to be taken into account when calculating income. So they don't need to hide anything, but they are obligated by law to report it because they're following, they're building up statistics and stuff like that. So it's the law that they have to do it. Okay. Now let's change gears. Let's go into COBRA. By the way, we have a half an hour to go, so I'm going to speed up a little bit. I went too much into detail there. Okay. COBRA, the Consolidated Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act, COBRA. And basically, what is COBRA? COBRA is it's a law that has been in the books for some time now. And basically, what it says is if you had in the past, you had group health insurance, and let's say your employer was paying for half of it or the totality of your group health insurance, Now remember, in the past, if you had a pre-existing condition, you could not go into a carrier, into an insurance company, and buy health insurance, individual health insurance, because of the pre-existing conditions, or they could limit you in terms of the coverage. So there was an issue there. So a lot of people wanted to get a job with an employer that offered group health insurance, because under that insurance, the pre-existing conditions do not apply. So if somebody had a serious situation, the only way they could get health insurance was through their employer. They could not go to the market and buy insurance as an independent individual, or sort of single policy for them. Now, what happened if you were terminated from your employer? If you were terminated from your employer, that's where COBRA kicked in. Basically, COBRA said, okay, if you have an employee that is under your group plan and he leaves or he's terminated, you, Mr. Employer, are obligated for, and there are other situations, but in general, for the next 18 months, that individual can stay in your group plan. So yeah, they're not with you anymore as an employee, but they can still be in your group plan, but they pay for the monthly premium. They pay for them. In fact, they said they pay up to 102%. So they can even pay an additional 2% just for administration expenses, so that it was not in the, cost for the employer. So that's why they talk about the 102% of the monthly premium. But the point is that an individual who was terminated or would leave a company could stay in the group plan for an additional 18 months, and they would pay it out of their own pocket for that insurance. Why was that so important? Because many people that would lose coverage under a group plan could not go out there to the market and buy individual coverage, because of the fact that if they had any type of pre-existing condition, they could be denied or limited in terms of the coverage. So COBRA is very important. Now, many of these group plans are very expensive. These are good plans that have a lot of coverage, and people tend to believe that they're not expensive because the company is paying for it. They don't know how much it actually costs. They just know that they have to pay $100 or $200, or in many instances $0, and they have this health insurance. But normally that health insurance is really expensive. They will know how much it costs whenever they apply into COBRA, where they say, yes, the monthly premium for the plan that you had with us, and now you're going to pay yourself, is $1,400 a month. That's a lot of money. So that is COBRA. COBRA, that was the spirit, and that's what COBRA is all about. Now let's talk about COBRA. That was COBRA before ARPA. Now let's talk about COBRA under ARPA. Now, under ARPA, anybody that is eligible for COBRA, that means anybody that was in a group plan and was either terminated because of COVID-19, the company shut down or whatever, or if because the individual left. All those individuals now are eligible for a full premium subsidy that covers the entirety of the COBRA premium. Okay, so if that individual was paying $1,400 a month on the COBRA for their group plan that they're paying by themselves, now under ARPA, they get a subsidy for 100% of whatever they're paying. Now, this subsidy is available. Remember that all this started on April the 1st. It's available until September the 30th of 2021. So that's April, May, June, July, August, and September. 6 months. So basically, they could get a subsidy for the totality of the COBRA premium for the next 6 months. That's COBRA under ARPA. Okay, 6 months of subsidy. So if anybody is on the COBRA, now they apply to this, and ARPA pays for their COBRA payments. Okay. Now, if somebody, let's say somebody left the company and they were offered COBRA. They say, hey, one of the options that you have now that you're leaving is you can pay for it yourself. And that individual declined the COBRA coverage, or started the COBRA coverage and then later discontinued because it was too expensive or whatever reason, that individual can now go back and get the full premium subsidy. Now that, if they're still within the, remember what I said, that is basically 18 months. 18 months since the day they were terminated. So this is, COBRA basically lasts for 18 months since the day you are terminated. So if they are still on that 18 months from the termination date, and they either got terminated and didn't get COBRA, but they can go back and get it now, or if they started with COBRA and they let it go because it was too expensive, they can again go back and get it. Now, so basically, if somebody didn't do it in April the 1st, but they go in August, it will be 6 months as of August, because August still during the is within the 18-month period from the date of the termination. So they don't have to go starting on April the 1st, but they have to make sure that they go at any time during the 18-month period since the day they were terminated, and they can reapply or apply for the 6-month coverage with under ARPA. So, and I know that the dates are confusing. COBRA is literally confusing. It's something that as insurance agents, normally we don't deal with that. We don't make money on the COBRA, so nobody pays too much attention to it. Now, since it's so complex, ARPA obligates the companies to provide a lot of different notices. So there's all these mandatory notices that employers need to provide their employees. So within 60 days of April the 1st, and no later than May 31st, so they should be receiving it at any point right now, individuals will be notified if they were eligible under this new COBRA mandate, if they were entitled to that benefit. So the company is obligated to notify individuals that now they are they have that additional benefit if they want to apply for it or not. So it's the company's obligation to do that. And they need to provide information on how the premium assistance works and how they need to request it and all that. Now, individuals have 60 days after they get that notice to elect it. So it's not that it's open for the rest of their life. Once they get, and it's probably going to be sent on the certified mail or something like that. I don't know the specifics, but I would assume that's the case. Once they get the notification that they are entitled to this additional COBRA benefit, they have 60 days to do it. So let's assume somebody it's still under the 18-month window, and 3 months have gone by, and they get the notification. They get 60 additional days to start getting the benefits for, remember, a total of 6 additional months. So that's how this COBRA works. Now, if somebody has Medicaid or becomes eligible for marketplace coverage, that does not make you ineligible for COBRA. So somebody has Medicaid or somebody is eligible for the marketplace, that does not eliminate the COBRA benefit. Now, if somebody becomes eligible for other group health coverage, so that means if the guy gets another job where he or she gets group health insurance again, or they get coverage through their spouse's employer, then that individual is not eligible for the premium subsidy. That individual is not eligible for the premium subsidy. So obviously they are eligible for COBRA, but they get new coverage through somebody else. They are not eligible for that premium subsidy anymore. Now, if somebody is receiving the COBRA benefit, they have been receiving the benefit, the monthly premium, and they become eligible for coverage under another plan, that individual is obligated to inform the plan that they are not entitled to the COBRA benefit anymore. So if you are receiving the COBRA benefit and then you get a new job, okay, or you get a coverage through your spouse's employer, then you are obligated as a recipient of the COBRA benefit to inform the group plan that you are not entitled to that benefit anymore. If not, if you don't do so, failure to do so can result in a tax penalty. So individuals are obligated not to cheat. Okay, if they do get the benefit from somebody else, they have to stop getting the subsidy from COBRA. And again, we talk about a lot of different notices. And here they talk about the fact that when the COBRA benefit is going to expire, the group, the employer is obligated to provide a notice of expiration to the individual. So you have to tell them, hey, you have been getting a subsidy of $1,400 per month over the last 6 months because of COBRA under ARPA. That benefit will be finishing or will be stopping as of whatever date. So they have to explain to them that they have to give them the specific date in which the benefit is finished and what their options are. They have to tell them you can go to the marketplace, or you can do this, or you can do whatever. Okay. Now, if somebody gets help from another plan, then obviously the employer is not obligated to give them any notice of expiration. In that case, it would be backwards. The employee or the ex-employee should be the one informing the company and not the other way around. And the notice must be provided within 15 to 45 days before the date of expiration. So again, it should not be the last day. People should have 1 month to find out what is it they're going to be doing, because they're not going to be able to pay for that plan that they had, because the monthly subsidy for COBRA under ARPA is going to be terminated. So they need to do something about it, and they need to know about it with at least 15 to 45 days of anticipation. So very important, if somebody's getting any type of, number one, you as an insurance agent, what can you do? You need to help them understand all the different notices that they're going to be receiving. So now you know the different notices that they're going to be getting. Tell them that if they decide to go with COBRA, they're going to be getting up to 6 months of 100% subsidy through September of 2021. But if they do it or they enroll later, it's going to be for 6 months. So it can go past September of 2021. Remind them that if they're no longer eligible for that subsidy, they have to notify the plan about that. If they don't do so, they might be subject to a tax penalty. Now, the actual termination of COBRA, of this COBRA subsidy, does not generate an SEP by itself. So if an individual finishes the COBRA coverage, if they don't have any other type of SEP, they cannot enroll in a marketplace plan, because again, the termination of the COBRA subsidy by itself does not constitute an SEP. So an individual needs to know exactly what they're going to be doing in advance, because there is no automatic SEP because of COBRA being terminated. So obviously at this time, we already know that we have an SEP that goes all the way to August. And again, I'm assuming that they're going to open it for the rest of the year. But it's important to understand the fact that termination of COBRA does not create an SEP. And the individual, in order for them to get into another plan, they need to somehow have an SCP, a life event, or whichever one of the conditions that generates an SCP. Okay, I'm going to move a little bit faster here now. Medicaid and CHIP changes for pregnant women. Basically, the way this works, remember again what I was talking about, some individuals that were on the Medicaid Gap, that included a pregnant woman. Basically, in the past, if they qualify, they will get they were covered through the last day of the month in which the 60-day postpartum period ends. So the woman would have, postpartum, they would count 60 days. They would have additional coverage for those 60 days until the end of the month where that 60-day period falls. So if the 60-day period ended on April the 4th, they would have coverage until April the 30th. So it was 60 days plus the end of the month as of the date of the postpartum date. Under ARPA, for the next 5 years, states have an option of extending that postpartum period for up to 12 months. So over the next 5 years, all the different states in the nation will have to make a determination by themselves if they want to extend this postpartum benefit, but not for 60 days, but for the whole 1 year. But it's a state decision. It's not a mandatory. And so we as brokers and agents need to make sure that we find out if the state where we are functioning is going to extend this to 1 year or not, because again, it's on a state-by-state basis. If the states have exercised the option, then you can let consumers know that eligible pregnant women who are enrolled in some type of Medicaid or CHIP program may extend their coverage up to 12 months, okay? And then you have to go to the state to do that. Finally, we already mentioned the fact that any type of stimulus payment will not affect any type of consumer eligibility to any one of the programs under the marketplace or the programs under Medicaid or under CHIP. So the money is not accountable for, it has to be reported, but it will not be added up to any type of income. So that's very important for that message to be conveyed. And here finally we have some, let me summarize, because again, as I mentioned before, and I know we have covered a lot of information, but remember you can see the whole presentation again in any one of our 3 channels, the PIC agent channel at the Prinsuco website. That's number 1. Number 2, in our YouTube channel. And number 3, in our Roku channel. The name of the Roku channel is Total Financial Governance. So you can watch this presentation again. But let me summarize here. We have 1, stimulus payments. 2, advanced premium tax credit changes. 3, extension of federal pandemic unemployment compensation. 4, unemployment compensation enhanced APTC and CSR. And 5, COBRA premium support and extension of Medicaid and CHIP for pregnant women. The enactment dates, here are the enactment dates. Again, this is something that that I don't know what to say anymore about these applicability dates, because I would say that most probably they're gonna change them whenever, and they can change them for 1 more month or they can make them permanent. So I just need you to know that these are the dates at this time. So remember, in terms of stimulus payments, does not affect eligibility for marketplace financial assistance. So the money doesn't count in terms of making you ineligible for anything. The advanced premium tax credit, there are, as we saw, more generous subsidies for basically anybody, and consumers with household incomes over 400 of FPL, that means affluent individuals, now can also get some type of subsidy based on the 8.5% level of their household income. The extension of the federal pandemic unemployment compensation, we already said that it was $300 a week, which is $1,200 a month, which comes on top of whatever unemployment compensation they have. And we already mentioned the fact that it doesn't count for any type of calculation for levels of income. Anybody that is receiving any type of unemployment compensation automatically is moved to the other side of the table, as we mentioned before, and it's calculated at basically at 138% of FPL. So anybody that is receiving unemployment is eligible for an ARPA/ACA plan. So you can enroll them into any one of these plans. COBRA, we already talked about the 100% of premiums paid for 6 months, and the extension of the pregnant woman postpartum period from 60 days to 12 months, and basically that is for the next 5 years. So that's basically the applicability date. We have resources available by the marketplace, which are really good. I invite you all to go and check out these resources. I mean, they are great. They have a lot of information, and I invite you to learn how to use these resources as additional tools for you to enhance your business. There is this upcoming agent and broker meeting on June the 17th on the RecTap. I strongly recommend you all to go to this website, RecTap, and this is really good by the federal government, information, tools for insurance agents that are going to really help you get better at what we're doing. One of the things that is a reality is ARPA is here to stay, and basically people are getting paid for all their health insurance, and you as an insurance agent are getting commissions for the totality of the premium. And every day you need more specialization. So those of us who are into this, we're seeing a revamping of our profession and a time that is incredible in terms of this. There is no better time to be an insurance agent than now. I know a lot of agents that are having incredible increases in their levels of income because of everything that is happening. So these are all tools to make you better at doing this. There is a summary, again, all these different tools: Marketplace Service Desk, the agent/broker email help desk, and the Marketplace Call Center Agent Broker Partner Line. Again, you have all the information and the phone numbers. Do we have any questions? I'm going to take one question because we don't have time. I want to make sure that we comply with the 2 hours. Okay, there is a question. If a person's income is $12,880, do they qualify for advanced premium tax credit? Most of my clients, if under 18,000, they go to Medicaid. Does this vary by state? Let me go back to, that's a very good question. Thank you. Not going to give the names of the agents. Let me go back to the table here. So if a person's income, now remember, we're talking about 12,880. Let me do it like this. Household size 1. So this is an individual. Is 12,880, do they qualify for advanced premium tax credit? The answer is yes. Okay? Most of my clients, if under 18, they go now. The thing is, and I know what you're saying, that many instances when we put household size 1 and we put income of 12,000 or 13,000, even 14,000, it sends them directly to Medicaid. But remember that they can go to Medicaid. Now they have to apply in Medicaid. Now remember that Medicaid is for the kids. An individual does not get Medicaid as a grown-up. The kids on the chip will be sent to Medicaid. But to answer your question, if a person's income is 12,880, or let's say it's 12,881, they do qualify for advanced premium tax credit. My recommendation, if they deny them for any reason, call the marketplace and get on the phone with one of them and make sure you fight it because it's a fact that it is. Some companies give priority. Yeah, some companies, that's right, that's a fact. Some companies give prior deductible credit. So when we were talking about the danger, and thank you again for this very valid comment, we're talking about the danger of changing plans. If you have already gone through the totality of the deductible and you change plans, you might lose that and have to start again. But yes, some companies might give you credit for that prior deductible. The point is, make sure that you give a heads up on that, and make sure that if you're going to get any type of prior credit, get it in writing. That would be my recommendation, in writing, because you never know how things can change. Does the COBRA subsidy apply to all termination or only non-voluntary terminations? That's a really good question. I'm not an expert in COBRA, but I would say that if somebody is terminated by fault, the laws associated with COBRA will override everything here. So I would say, and again, I'm not an expert in COBRA, but I would say if there is a termination by cause, I would say COBRA will not apply. But don't quote me on that one because I'm not expert. It's saying, where is the money coming? Oh, this is a really good question. Thank you, Mr. Agent. This is a very valid question. Where is the money coming from? Offer this for 2 years and then take it away. So what's going to happen in 2 years? That's a very valid point. I don't want to get into any type of political discussion, but basically the money is coming from the huge laws that they pass. We're talking about trillions of dollars. So basically, where is that money coming from? From our taxes. To answer your question, yeah, we're going to have to pay for this. This is no free money. It's free money for some people, but it has to come from somewhere. So the money is coming from all the taxes. And that's what I was saying. You bring a very valid point, because you're saying, hey, what happens? Okay, we do it for 2 years. What's going to happen in 2 years? And you raise the question, so what's going to happen in 2 years? And I agree with you 100%. That's why I was saying I don't want to emphasize the deadlines and the dates, because nobody knows. I mean, once we're mounted in this, only God knows how where we're headed with this. I really don't know. Once you give a subsidy like this, it's very difficult to take it away. If you receive a subsidy and make no changes, will you still get the retro advanced premium tax credit when you file your 2021 taxes in 2022? Yes. Remember. Yeah. You are enrolling a plan and you're getting some type of subsidy. You have an advanced premium tax credit, but you're now entitled to additional premium tax credit because of the changes in the limits and the numbers. But you don't do anything about it. You wait, the client waits until they do their taxes, their reconciliation back in 2022, and at that moment, they're going to get a refund. That refund, because the amount goes all the way to January of this year. So yes, they do get the retro APTC. Those are the instructions, and we did cover it in the training. That's the guidelines at this point are that yes, they will get that retro APTC. Would you please send a copy of the slides to all participants? Thank you. Again, as I mentioned before, number one, we have pieces. We have a lot of different pieces that we can provide you with. And additionally, you can watch the totality of the presentation in any one of our different channels. Are there any additional benefits coming in July that are not in the system currently? Only God knows. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, they do mention that they're going to be talking about some additional benefits, especially for the unemployed. But from what I saw in the news in the last couple of days, with the issue that is coming with regards to the fact that these unemployed people are getting so much money that now they don't want to go back to work, and the unemployment number is starting to become an issue, I don't know if they're going to give them any additional benefits. I really think that there's going to be a lot of pressure not to keep pumping money into this, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to prefer not to work. And so I don't know if we're going to be having additional benefits, or at least I see an uphill battle in terms of, pushing additional benefits for anything. Remember that, as we mentioned before in the other question, somebody has to pay for this, okay? Does the COBRA subsidy also apply to state continuation to the employer that has less than 20 employees? And this is a really good question. There is all these new rules associated with employers that have less than 20 employees. And in fact, in the last couple of days, we were looking into this. They are silent, very important changes happening with small size employers that nobody's talking about. And I don't know the specifics of the answer to this because I don't know very much about the state continuation laws. So I don't want to say something that I don't know about. But what I do know is the fact that basically there is this movement towards moving everybody that is under a small employer into the marketplace. That's basically what I'm seeing happening. So I don't want to go further than that in my comment because I really do not. I'm very much familiarized with the state continuation laws on the COBRA. Again, I'm not a COBRA expert. I am assuming the full subsidy for COBRA members is received through healthcare.gov. I really don't know how they're going to manage it. They said that they were going to be providing with additional guidelines in June. So I don't know exactly how they're going to be doing that. But okay, thank you very much for your participation. And I'm looking forward to our next meeting digitally. Thank you.